Hello everyone, I'm Eren Eser. Although the Second World War lasted for 6 years, this war lasted 30 years for a Japanese soldier. If you want to support my channel, you can like the video below and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications to be notified of upcoming videos. The psychology of war is not a phenomenon that can be easily understood and analyzed. What happens on the battlefield cannot leave everyone there alone for the rest of their lives, and can make one feel at war psychologically with various effects. Because, according to those at the front, there is no reason why the war that started suddenly should not come at any moment. Hiro Onoda's story, which began after World War II and continued for 29 years, is the most striking example of this psychology. Onoda's story begins in the last year of the war. Onoda, an intelligence officer, is among the soldiers sent to the peripheral islands of Japan. He was assigned to fight for control of the islands against American soldiers and was advised to work in secret in the jungle. A firm order was given to all the troops sent to the islands: do not surrender under any circumstances. It was forbidden to even commit suicide, let alone surrender. This struggle, which continues with secret tactics in the forest, turns into a guerrilla struggle. Onoda, a 23-year-old soldier, continues his mission to the island with his 4-person team consisting of Yuichi Akatsu, Shoichi Shimada, and Kenshichi Kozuka and himself. They are in a relentless struggle with the American military for critical information. But during the struggle, there is a development that changes the balance, and this development, which makes a sound all over the world, destroys 2 Japanese cities. The war comes to an end for Japan when atomic bombs hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki to the point of wiping them off the map. They do not have enough military forces left. Such an end was never planned. The painful surrender was signed on September 2, 1945. Now the Japanese front is closed in World War II. How would they announce to the soldiers on the island that the war was over? The island of Lubang, where Onoda is also assigned, is one of the islands in the Pacific region, where it is difficult to communicate, like other islands. Although the war was over, fighting continued in Lubang and the surrounding islands. However, American soldiers left the island and announced that the war was over before they left. The Japanese soldiers thought that it was a game and continued to fight, but because there were no American soldiers, the clashes targeted the local people for a while. During this time, Japanese warplanes threw brochures in the visual describing the end of the war at the soldiers' areas. It is impossible to convince Onoda and his team that the war is over. When Filipino soldiers and cops follow the target population, Onoda and his team start to suffer losses. 3 comrades in arms other than Onoda are either wounded or killed by Filipino soldiers in this illegal struggle, which they think is at war. Only Onoda remains. Onoda continues his struggle without slowing down, thinking that his friends are ambushed by the American soldiers. Although the years spent struggling to survive with fruits and other living things in nature were tough, his commander said, "Never go back." He obeys his order to the end. In 1959, his family accepted that he was dead and had a tomb built. Meanwhile, Onoda struggles personally in the forest conditions and implements a vigilant escape plan. While the war with nature continues, 29 years have passed since the end of the war. Just these days, an explorer meets Onoda in the forest, recognizes him and tries to convince him that the war is over, but Onoda says that he will not disobey his commander's order and will continue his struggle unless he states otherwise. The explorer returns to the country and finds Onoda's commander, Major Taniguchi, and explains the situation. When the major learns his place in the forest and goes to him, Onoda salutes ready for duty. After receiving the necessary order from his commander, he leaves the island, delivering all his ammunition and finally, the idea that he is at war. When Onoda decides to return to his homeland, he learns that he will be tried for the 30 people he injured and killed by approaching as American soldiers for 30 years. But his crimes are forgiven because he only followed orders. Onoda, who also wrote a book about his experiences on the island and his 30-year military service, passed away in 2014 at the age of 91. A whole life spent with heroism, patriotism, and struggle.